you could tell the conservatives are having a little bit of a difficult time handling this situation. So Jack Posobiec, late last night, who was a friend of Charlie Kirk's and did shows with him. I don't know if he was on the payroll. I don't know how their books work over there, but he was on Charlie Kirk's show quite a bit. I have spoken to a lot of conservative influencers and hosts in the past few weeks and asked them all one question. Why aren't you talking about Tyler Robinson? They all told me they would, and then hardly any of them actually did. Interesting. Well, friend of the show, Kim Iverson, says, because they don't think you did it. Yeah, exactly. This is the problem that you're having, right? Is that, at TPUSA, they are sort of torn between having to toe a certain line about the official story coming out of the government, while I think suspecting that their own followers struggle to accept that story. And once again, I said this in the last segment, that is not to implicate them in the murder of Charlie Kirk. It's simply to say that they are kind of stuck between two very important pieces of their operation. The donors who want to embrace the official story, and I would suspect, as I suspect they suspect, a lot of their followers who are reluctant to embrace the official story. And that's why I think there's relative silence about Tyler Robinson. I think there's this game of chicken where the creators know that the audience is not really on board with the official story. Same reason they don't talk about Israel very often. There's a lot of these MAGA accounts don't talk about Israel very often.
They just stay off.
You don't see Gunther Eagleman, you don't see Benny Johnson, you don't see Jack Posobiec talk about that because they know that Daddy wants it one way, but their viewers and their listeners and their followers want it another way. So Jack Posobiec says, then why not fight to save an innocent man from false accusations of killing our friend? Well, I just explained that to you because they're torn, right? They're torn. It's best to just kind of leave it lay, right? Wall of Denial says it's pretty simple, Jack. Nobody believes the story, and you've totally hitched your ride to what certainly looks to be a very corrupt organization. Yeah. Well, one guy.
Look at Posobiec pretending he doesn't understand that it's a space full of grifters like himself.
Well, this is what they all do. This is the classic game that they all play. When a story breaks and they don't know how to react, they'll do like an audience poll. Hey, what do you guys think of this? Right before they opine, right? And then based on the numbers, they'll say, okay, I'll lose this many if I say this, but I'll lose way less if I say that, so whatever. They all play that game. It's so obvious that they play that game. But one guy who's not afraid to express that he's had enough of Candace Owens is Tim Pool. In the sociopath influencer world, there is no amount of money that will never be worth it. That's Candace Owens' world. Publishing texts, out of context posts, and attempting to eviscerate Charlie's legacy seems to be worth every penny to Candace. That was yesterday morning. So then he puts out this text making fun of her. I received information this morning that put the final pieces together for me. I now can say with full confidence that I believe Charlie Kirk was betrayed by Candace Owens and some of the very people who claim to be his friend. Yes, I will be naming names and providing evidence for my claims, and I am making a personal plea to every well-meaning person who donated to this organization to say thank you. You were lied to, and Candace knew, obviously trolling her there. But now he goes beyond trolling. He goes off on a tear about Candace Owens. This was published to Twitter yesterday. I'm not sure if this first aired Tuesday or Wednesday because he does a morning and an evening show. This guy spends a lot of time on camera. But here he is. She's a fucking scumbag, and she's getting worse every day.
He does that every day?
I think so.
He does a morning and an evening show every day?
I think so. Unless he changed it up because now he's on Rumble. Now he's one of these Rumble streamers. I'm not sure. But yeah, he does a lot. So here's Tim Pool losing it on Candace Owens.
I work in construction and experience the same thing. My coworkers are all in on the Charlie Kirk conspiracies. If the Republicans lose in the midterms, I believe that Candace Owens is wholly responsible.
Wow. You talk about a guy who needs to touch grass. Yeah, no, it's her fault that the Republicans are going to lose the midterms. Not the fact that what have we cut 1 million jobs this year? Most job cuts in any year since 2003. You could start there. It's not Candace Owens' fault, bud. I can promise you that.
She is one of the biggest podcasts on the right doing everything to go to war with the organization that helped get Trump elected. Turning Point specifically was going out and registering people to vote. Without Charlie, it's in trouble. Turning Point needs to be able to go out and rally young people and register them to vote. And she's doing everything she can to destroy that. And that is going to, I suppose, it's going to rip out the coffers on the right. There is no organization like Turning Point that exists anywhere else that has the resources and the reach. And without Charlie, I'm not sure that they can make it. But I can tell you this, Candace lighting a Molotov and throwing it through the window is not helping. And it's the most demoralizing thing ever. Additionally, all of the fucking cowards on the right who are too scared to say anything about her, because she tweets at me talking shit or whatever, and then a bunch of people come and flood our chat. I could give a single flying fuck. You can come and you can burn everything I have to the ground, and I will happily live in a van down by the river. I don't care to be number one. I don't need to be number one. What I care about is what is true and what will help this country and what works. And
sure. Yeah, no, that's what you care about. Yeah, what is true and what will help this country
Well,
and what
yeah.
works.
Didn't Tim used to claim to be an independent?
Oh, yeah.
Not actually be ideological. Now, look, there were a lot of people who, because the Biden administration was such a nightmare, wound up becoming, GOP curious, and I get that. But at this point, you're this all in, not only on this administration, but on their narrative. This is the same guy, and we've showed this clip a few times, who shut down his own panel when they started talking about the USS Liberty and nonsensically said it doesn't matter who did it. That's a guy who is not in the pocket of Mossad. This is the guy who took money from Tenet Media, and even if you believe they didn't know where the money was coming from, that's irrelevant. It tells you something about who these people are, that they would take money from some organization that way without disclosing that to their audience.
What I care about is what is true and what will help this country and what works. And she is a fucking scumbag. Okay?
Oh.
And she's getting worse.
Okay, so the guy who is so craven that he actually jumped on the Miss Rachel is poisoning your kids' minds bandwagon, a place that was so low, even Benny in the closet didn't go there.
Yep.
This is the man of integrity.
A guy who clearly, based on no research or information whatsoever, said we should do away with the SNAP program entirely because it incentivizes people not to work, when in fact the reality of the SNAP program is the exact opposite. The exact opposite. This is a guy who, hey, I only care about the truth. I'll live in a van down by the river if it means getting the truth out. No, you're not. You're a fucking lying scumbag, a lazy lying scumbag at that. That you would say Ms. Rachel is a demon poisoning your kids, and that you would advocate for cutting SNAP without knowing the first thing about it. Like, that just tells you right there, you're not interested in the truth whatsoever.
I don't care to be number one. I don't need to be number one. What I care about is what is true and what will help this country and what works. And she is a fucking scumbag.
A scumbag.
Okay? And she's getting worse every day. And she crossed the line. She continually crosses the line every day, insinuating that Turning Point literally killed the guy who made them all rich. And I hear this in the streets, and at a certain point, I'm like, holy shit, we're gonna lose the midterms. We're gonna lose the midterms.
Why. Yeah, that's
then we're
why.
going to lose in 2028. It's because she's a piece of shit.
I thought you were an independent, Tim.
Yeah, I thought you were an independent there. Because she's a piece of shit. So you're going to lose the midterms because Candace Owens is a piece of shit who doesn't believe that a 30-06 bullet was stopped by the neck bone when everything we know is that is totally impossible. She's a piece of shit, and because she's such a piece of shit, that's going to cost you the midterms. Wow.
Well, not only that, that's such a ridiculously online take. I hate to tell you this. Maybe this is why you don't understand how Snap works. Most people don't live in this bubble. They don't live in this ecosystem. Most people don't even know this conversation is happening.
Right, exactly. Right. The idea that this is going to be what ushers in a blue wave, yes, it's a ridiculously online take. Talk about needing to touch grass.
You know, I was upset when they shut down the Tyson plant, but you know what really hurt me? Candace. When she started talking about Turning Point USA, I said, you know what? I'm going to vote Democrat.
I'm going to vote Democrat because that bitch won't shut her mouth. That's right. That's right. I mean, it's ludicrous. Just absolutely ludicrous. And who is that for? Like, who is that for? Like, this is why, you
This
see
is
he
what I
takes a
don't
meeting.
understand.
He takes a
Right.
meeting with Netanyahu, right? He acts like nobody's supposed to know about it. Like, who is that for? Like, what
Right.
are you doing? What are
Right.
you doing there? So yeah,
Well,
I mean,
we've already seen that Tim was getting paid by Tenet. Well, you think that's the only people who were paying him?
right.
He's getting paid because it does. Who, as you say, who's it for? Like, who's his audience at this point?
Yeah.
Who wants to watch these kinds of takes? I that is such a small number of people who want to watch some grown ass middle aged man with a fucking beanie, with a skater beanie on,
Yeah.
go on about how nothing to see there with the Charlie Kirk assassination. Like,
Yeah.
even within his natural audience, that's a deeply unpopular opinion.
Of course. Of course. And Cam S says, so it'll have nothing to do with the entire Trump administration completely flipping on all their campaign promises. Epstein is a hoax. Inflation is a hoax. No more wars, except for Somalia, Iran, Yemen, and coming soon, Venezuela. No Doge, no more foreign aid, no more currency debasement. Juicy Lee says, Israel broke the MAGA. Susie Wiles in her gatekeeping broke MAGA. Trump in his new war with Venezuela broke MAGA. Candace exposed the pathetic hand they played to shut us up. Exactly. Just an absolutely ludicrous take. And that was the strongest words he had for Candace Owens in 3 months. If he were so principled and she were so unhinged, she's been talking like this for a few months. Where were you then? Where were you then? Right? Why now?
Please clap.